Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the first day of our new story. Today we are starting lesson 22. The name of the story is called I Could Do That. So we're going to start by talking about our objectives today. And what I'm showing you is right in your Google slideshow for today. So if we look at our objectives, what we're going to accomplish today, we are going to apply vocabulary to a biography. Biography is our genre for this story. We are going to take a look at our spelling words. This week, they have long I and short I sounds. We are also going to listen and comprehend a biography. That's what's on the plate for today. So, if you click here, it will take you right to your focus wall for this story. So if we look at our focus wall, I am going to make it big so you could see it better. Our story, we are jumping all the way to lesson 22. It's I Could Do That, which is a biography. Okay, later on, next week, we'll be taking a look at an informational text called The Role of the Constitution. So your essential question for this lesson is, what causes change in a community? Okay, so I want you to listen for that when you're hearing the read aloud of our story, I Could Do That today. What causes change in a community? You should be able to answer that by the end of listening to the story. Disregard the writing on here. Next week, we will continue on our Fall Fest narrative writing. We will be doing editing and publishing of that writing. Our comprehension skills are what you see here. We will be focusing on cause and effect, conclusions, domain-specific vocabulary. Also, we're practicing inferring and predicting all the time because we are good readers, so we always want to make inferences and predict when we're reading. Okay? We are going to continue to work on pausing at correct punctuation and phrasing when we're reading. When you are reading this week, I also want you to keep your eyes out for different word parts. Remember, we talked about word parts last week as far as prefixes and suffixes. Keep an eye out for those, as well as your root words or base words. The grammar is going to come from actually lesson 2. We're going to be talking about kinds of sentences, and we will get more into that in the second week of this story. Your target vocabulary, that is what we're going to hit big on today. That is going to be the following words: politics, intelligent, disorderly, approve, polls, legislature, amendment, candidates, informed, denied. These are your spelling words as you see them there. They are our long I, short I sounds, and they actually come from lesson 3. And we will talk more about those a little bit later in this video. Our vocabulary strategies that we're going to work on are adages and proverbs. They seem like they would be really difficult. They're not. So boys and girls, I want you to think, if you ever heard the phrase better safe than sorry, that is an adage that we're going to talk about this week. Okay? It's kind of like a warning phrase almost. And then a proverb. You hear proverbs in folk tales a lot of times. So here's an example one. If at first you don't succeed, try again. That's one I always use with my boys at home. Okay, so that's just talking a little bit about what our goals are for lesson 22. So if we get out of that and go back into our Google slide, you will see the next slide is your vocabulary and content words. So we're going to start like we would in school. I'm going to say the word. I want you to say it back to me. Politics, intelligent, disorderly, approve, polls, legislature, amendment, candidates, informed, denied. Great job, boys and girls. Now we're going to really dig deep in our 5 that are going to be on your test. So any that you see that have the prompts beside them, are going to be ones that you really want to make sure you're looking at, because those are the 5 that you will see on your assessment next week as far as vocabulary. So let's start here. Disorderly. Without a set of rules or laws, society might be disorderly or unorganized. So think to yourself, what does disorderly mean? Are there any context clues that I can use to help me figure out what the word disorderly means? There sure are. I see the word disorganized. That really helps me. So if people are being disorderly, they are behaving in a way that is out of control or against the rules. I want you to think about this, boys and girls. What happens when students are disorderly? So when I think about that, I think of safety first. If the students are all up walking or running around the classroom at once, that leads to a disorder where they may get hurt, and that is unsafe. Think about a time when you have been in a disorderly setting. Describe what it was like. I would like you, if you are an at-home learner, to insert a text box right here. You do that by going right up here, text box, and then you just drag it in here, and then you can type for me, or you can even have an adult type this for you. Tell them about a time when you have been in a disorderly setting, and tell me about that. Okay? I'm going to delete that text box for you because I'd like you to practice doing that. Great job. Now, I would like you to say the word disorderly 3 times with me. Disorderly, disorderly, disorderly. Once again, before we leave this slide, the prefix dis is in front of the word. The root word is order. And this word also has the suffix ly at the end of it. So if we were breaking that word up, we would see disorderly. Great job. Let's move on to our next word. Our next word, I'm going to say it. I'd like you to say it back. Intelligent. Smart people make intelligent decisions when they vote. So what does the word intelligent mean? An intelligent person has the ability to learn, think, and understand. Who is the most intelligent person you know? Think about that. What makes him or her intelligent? Well, when I think of an intelligent person, I think of a principal or somebody that's in charge of the school. And what makes them intelligent is that they have to be able to schedule and make sure everybody in the school is safe and learning the best, and all of the students' needs are being met. So in order to do all of those things, a principal would have to be a very intelligent person. Which of the following sentences describes an intelligent acts? So if I read the sentence and you think that is an intelligent or wise choice, I want you to tap your head for me 2 times. If you do not think that's an intelligent choice, I want you to make a sad face emoji. With a lot of practice and studying, he became very good at doing long division. Okay, tap your head twice if you think that's intelligent, or frown face if it's not. I hope you tapped your head twice, boys and girls. If you practice and study, that makes you very intelligent. Let's do example number 2. After falling off her bike and hurting her head, Sarah continued to ride without a helmet. Tap your head twice if you think Sarah made an intelligent choice, or show me a frowny face emoji if she didn't. Unfortunately, boys and girls, I hope you're frowning, because continuing to ride a bike without a helmet is certainly not an intelligent choice. Your final one. Mike ate the entire cake without worrying about how he would feel later. If that is smart, intelligent, tap your head twice. If not, show me a frowny face emoji. You should be frowning. If you eat an entire cake, you certainly will be sick the next day or even that evening. That is not intelligent. Let's say intelligent 3 times together. Intelligent, intelligent, intelligent. Great job. Let's move on to our next word. Our next word is denied. People should not be denied or refused meetings with their elected officials. So we can use the context clue. Denied or refused. Refused is a synonym of denied. So what does it mean? If a person is denied something, he or she is not allowed to have it. Okay? They're refused a service or an item. How do you react when you are denied something you really want? So think about that. If you said to your mom, Mom, please give me another cookie. And she says, not tonight, you just brushed your teeth. How would you feel? A lot of the times, if people are denied things, they feel upset or sad. And that's an okay feeling to have. I want you now to identify the sentence that show that somebody was denied something. Okay? And we're going to discuss it right here. So, if you think the phrase that I read to you is denying a person something, I want you to pound your fist not too hard on the table and say, denied. If not, I want you to say, yes, and give me a thumbs up. Okay? I am sorry, I cannot help you. You should be hitting your fist and saying, denied. You will have to ask someone else. Denied. Yes, you can have a new bike. You should be giving a thumbs up. That is not denied. That is giving somebody something. That idea cannot work. Denied. The word cannot helps you there. Maybe next time. Denied. Come on in. Thumbs up. That's an example of accepting somebody. Let's get started. That's a thumbs up. That is not an example of denied. That's an example of being positive. So I want you to say the word denied 3 times with me, and we're going to pound our fists lightly. Denied. 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 Great job. Let's look at our next word. Our next word is approve, which is an antonym of denied, actually. People who run for office hope voters will like and approve of them. So we have a big context clue here again. Approve, a synonym for approve, is to like. To approve of something is to like or agree with it. Do you approve of the way the students in your class dress? Why or why not? So I want you to think about that. Or think about somebody at home and how they're dressed today. Do you approve of how they're dressed or not? I'm looking around the room and I'm sitting here with my son Mason, and he's in a nice comfy shirt and shorts. I approve of the way he's dressed. Now, tell which of your choices your parents or guardians approve of and which choices they do not approve of. So if you're an at-home learner, I want you to insert a text box into each one of these categories, and you're going to tell me if your parents approve of your clothing, approve of your friends, and approve of your music. Or if they do not approve, you're going to type in do not approve. Okay? Kiddos at school, we will talk about that together. Let's say approve and give thumbs up 3 times. Approve. 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 Great job. Our final word that you're going to be tested on is the word polls. Voters go to the polls or election locations to place their votes on election day. So polls is actually a multiple meaning word, okay? But polls, how it is used in this sentence and in our story this week, is in an election, it is the place where people go to vote. So it's actually a setting, okay? Think about it. On election day, Where are the polls set up in your town? Well, Mrs. Vasquez lives in Shamokin Dam, so her polls are set up at one of the churches in Shamokin Dam on the old trail. Okay? Think about what voters usually do before and after they go to the polls. I would like you, if you're an in-school learner, we're going to discuss this. If you're an at-home learner, I'd like you to fill in a text box, or Mrs. Vasquez will go ahead right now and insert a table for you. So that should make it a little easier for you to fill that flow chart in. There you go. And I'll go back and make it fancy later, but I just wanted to put that in there so I would remember. So what I'd like you to do is check the news to find out who won. Go to the polls to vote, learn about the candidates, decide which candidate to vote for. I would like you to put the steps in sequence order of what you would do in an election. And if you don't know, now is a really great time that you could talk to an adult in your house about this, because this is something that is happening, going to happen actually in November. Okay, so that should practice sequencing. Let's say polls 3 times together. Polls, polls, polls. You do have 5 other vocabulary words. So our next word is amendment. Please say amendment. Only in 1920 did an amendment to the Constitution allow all U.S. women to vote. So an amendment is a change. Say the word amendment again. Your next word is candidates. Candidates, or people trying to get elected to office, sometimes have public debates. So candidates means people trying to get elected to office. Your next word is informed. Informed voters have learned about issues in order to decide how they will vote. Informed means to get information. Legislature. A legislature is a group of elected officers who make up laws. It is a branch of government, and you will talk about that a lot more in detail with Ms. Wolf in social studies. Politics. Politics is the work of the government. Running for an office and voting are all part of politics. So even if you're not running for an office, you are still part of politics. Great job, boys and girls. Now what I would like you to do is, if you click here, it's going to take you to a Quizlet, and you can practice your vocabulary. Mrs. Vasquez is already playing around with it. So you can hit play or shuffle and work through your Quizlet flashcards to practice. After you've done that, I would like you to go to complete the practice vocabulary page under today's assignments. So I have it right here for you. What you are going to do is use the context clues within these sentences, to complete each sentence using the given vocab words. Your vocab words are up here. The sentences are down here. If you have trouble reading those at home, it's a-okay to have an adult read them with you. Once you've done that, I would like you to click here to listen to the read aloud of I Could Do That. Also, I'd like you to click here and listen to my video. I do talk a little bit about genre and recap that, since we struggled with that on our running records. So listen to my video first, then click here. It'll take you right to your Think Central book. Type in page 654 and click the audio button and listen to page 665. After you've done that, I would like you to go back to Mrs. Vasquez's Google Classroom. You are going to see that I switched where I put your spelling homework, okay? It is under topics. So if you look here, I have spelling choice board homework. You will see it is assigned to you, okay? You need to complete 2 of the activities listed below. Remember that this is practice spelling, so you need to spell the words correctly, okay? Mrs. Vasquez isn't going to go into too many more details there. I did include the video already up on the stream and attached it into the spelling homework assignment for you. Okay, so make sure you check that out. All right, boys and girls, I hope you had a great day learning, and I will see you all very soon.